Welcome back, Twisters, and hey there, hockey fans. Nick here, and today let's rank the 15 ugliest jerseys of the last 15 years. So I decided to do this because the New Jersey Devils recently unveiled an alternate jersey, and I think most of us think it's pretty underwhelming, and yeah, it's on this list. And I'm focusing on the last 15 years specifically because when it came to the 1990s, they really took the cake when it comes to ugly alternate jerseys. So when I say alternate jerseys, I'm talking about third jerseys. I'm not talking about reverse retros or like one-off jerseys, commemoratives, warm-ups, outdoor games or anything like that. So specifically third jerseys, those kinds of alternates. So if you like discussion around jerseys and jersey unboxings and all things aesthetics related, hit that red subscribe button down below, hit the thumbs up, and join the Twist Brigade because we talk about jerseys on here plenty. Now, to be eligible for this list, the jersey must have been introduced no earlier than the 2006-07 season. And of course, guys, I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. What are the ugliest jerseys since then? Do let me know. And keep in mind, this is completely subjective. I'm not here to bash on anybody's team particularly. I'm just here to bash on some jerseys. So let me name a few honorable mentions. First of all, I have 5 of them. So we have the 2010 to 2017 New York Rangers. This was it's just uninspiring considering this team had the Statue of Liberty jersey not too long before that, so that's why it's on here. Next up, I have the Winnipeg Jets alternate from 2018 to 2021. This to me is a little underwhelming despite the lovely shade of aviator blue. You got to consider the Jets heritage jerseys that they've had that look a lot better than this pretty plain underwhelming jersey, I have to say. Next up, I have the New York Islanders 2015 to 2017 alternate. This was something to kind of mirror the Brooklyn Nets, but it's really just plain and doesn't really have anything to do with the New York Islanders so much, I don't think. So that's why it's on here. Next up, I have the Washington Capitals alternate jersey that is currently worn and was introduced last year. The design of it's okay, but where's the Weagle? Where's the Screaming Eagle? It's just that W in the middle. Can't stand it. And my last honorable mention is the Lightning's current alternate jersey. It's really hard to see the numbers. Where are the colors, man? I think the design of it's actually okay, but it doesn't really look like a hockey jersey, so that's why it's on this list. So let's kick off the countdown at number 15. I have the Ottawa Senators 2018 to 2020 alternate. This was also used as a commemorative jersey the season before. It's just a big O, and it doesn't have that alternate white that we had in their other heritage jerseys in the Reebok era that I think looked a lot better. To me, this just doesn't look like the Ottawa Senators whatsoever, and it's just really bland overall. At number 14, I have the current Vegas Golden Knights alternate jersey, which was introduced last year. It's actually okay in some ways. I don't mind them having a gold jersey, even with all that foily sort of texture. But for me, what really does this in are the armbands. So they could have just put black where the white band is there. I know it has that cool texture in there, but that really distracts from the overall theme of the jersey. It looks a little bit like a hodgepodge to me. At 13th, I have the first version of the Tampa Bay Lightning's Bolts jersey, which was worn from 2008 to 2014. So that's a fairly long time, I think. Now, the design of it overall is actually okay, but especially at that time, for them to go from the Lightning to just Bolts was kind of silly, and there was another team that imitated something kind of like that as well. Now, they do sort of go by the Bolts when it comes to their sort of marketing, which is totally fine. And so it's grown on me a little bit, but even so, when you think of that piping and just the overall sort of generic design of the jersey, it's just kind of bland still. In 12th, and this might be controversial a little bit, I have the Edmonton Oilers alternate, which was introduced in 2019 and is still currently worn. For me, it's pretty darn bland. There are just 2 little stripes on the arms. There's no white. It's the color rush theme, which most of the time I don't really like that much. The logo itself with all that orange, the oily orange part, I can't really get on board with that too much. The color itself is okay, but again, just without a little bit of white as an accent, it just doesn't stand out all that well, I don't think. In 11th, I have the Florida Panthers alternate jersey that was introduced in 2009 and was worn through 2012. The circular logo is something that I usually like for most teams, but in this case, with just the Panther head, it just doesn't come across as like a professional hockey jersey to me in that sense. And then you have the shoulder yoke. The colored shoulder yoke is fine. I like two-tone blue jerseys for the most part, but that FLA patch with the sun on it, this looks like something from the ECHL, let's be frank, and there are a lot of teams in Florida that play in the ECHL, so this to me does not look like an NHL team. In 10th, I have the Calgary Flames alternate, which was worn from 2013 to 2016. Now, the actual word mark itself, I think actually looks okay. It's not that I have a problem with. It's a couple other elements. First of all, the neckline, the collar looks awful. It droops down so far with the laces there. You got this awkward cropping with the shoulders, although the shoulder logo looks pretty great. And the striping on the arms and the waist is just really uninspiring. It's not really doing anything to set itself apart from other Calgary jerseys. They have such a great jersey history other than that. So this to me is certainly their worst, if not after the 2011 Heritage Classic. In 9th, and I'm sure there will be disagreements here, I have the Vancouver Canucks 50th anniversary, which was then issued as an alternate from 2019 to the present. So, you know, the stick and rink jersey I do like. I think in the Reebok era, it was done perfectly. And I like the little Johnny Canuck on the shoulders there. But what really does this for me are these big old green splotches that are on the waist and on the arms. It takes up too much real estate for one. And second of all, there's no white to kind of separate it from the blue. So it's just really kind of bland. It's not like it's matching or complementing each other very well. Coming in at number 8, and I'm sure there will be disagreements here too, I have the current Pittsburgh Penguins alternate jersey. So it was introduced in 2018. Now, I'm a big fan of the original yellow jersey the Pens wore in the 1980s, and there's a couple reasons why I like that, but I don't like this one. First of all, the numbers on the shoulders, I don't mind that so much. It's the actual pattern of the striping on the arms. It's different than what it was in the 80s, and to me, it looks fairly awkward. It does not look sequenced properly. And there's nothing going on at the bottom with the current jersey, whereas the jersey from the 80s at least had a little bit going on down there. In 7th, I have the Colorado Avalanche's alternate, which was worn from 2009 to 2015. Now, this wasn't their first wordmark jersey. They wore one earlier on in the decade, but I actually thought that one looked okay, whereas this one, what really does it in for me, I don't like having a wordmark jersey like that with diagonal lettering when you have a colored shoulder yoke. That really just doesn't seem to match, I don't think at all. And the Avalanche logo on the shoulders, I don't think that looks particularly good with this as well. In addition, the armbands, I don't like how thick they are and just the color sequencing there, that stretch of black. I just don't think that really fits with the Avalanche's color scheme, although they've used that plenty in the past. It's just overall a poorly composed jersey in my opinion. In 6th, I have the New Jersey Devils current alternate jersey, which was just unveiled. And for me, it's what are all these stripes? I know that this is paying homage to an era past, but it really doesn't have anything to do with Devils. And that's the thing, your mascot is the Devils. There's so much you could do with this. And for several decades, you've just stuck with the same damn thing. So that's why I'm especially frustrated to not see something that actually takes, you know, maybe the Reebok era design, which was flawless, and inverses the colors. I mean, that's what people have been clamoring for forever. And the Devils decided to spit this out. Man, what a wasted opportunity. Now, my Twisters, we are into our top 5. So in 5th, I have the Ottawa Senators Sens jersey, which was introduced in 2008 and worn through 2011. Man, just the piping on this is just so ugly. The arm designs, it's so chaotic. It's a hodgepodge. It's like an 8-year-old or a 6-year-old designed pieces of this jersey, and then the rest of it was just this blank template that Reebok said, okay, let's just go with this. It's mind-boggling that they actually took the ice with this. I do like the numbers on this, I do have to say, and same thing to the Devils alternate as well. But of course, the crown jewel here is Sens across the chest. I mean, could somebody who doesn't follow the NHL get into this team if they saw that? They're like, what are Sens? I have no idea what that means. In 4th, I have the second wave of the Bolts jersey for the Tampa Bay Lightning, worn from 2014 to 2017. So really, they had the Bolts jersey from 2008 to 2017. That's almost a decade long. Here I have Drake because I couldn't find anything else, and so I decided why not take a joke of a jersey and match it with a joke of an artist. So anyway, this is just a plain black jersey, barely any color. I like that in the collar though, it looks okay. You got this piping down the side, and then you just have bolts. How lazy can you be? At least as uninspiring as the rain jersey is that came after it, at least it has elements. This doesn't really have much of that at all. In 3rd, and I think some of you would put this at number 1, we have the Buffalo Sabres 2013 to 2016 alternate, also known as the Turd Burger. So from the front, this actually kind of looks like a hockey jersey. Yeah, I know that a lot of you wouldn't want to see the Sabres in yellow, which I can understand. I don't mind that all so much. I don't like the gray on the arms very much, though. I just don't think that really fits the color scheme. And then, of course, what really makes this jersey a stinker is that You have the shoulder yoke, which drapes all the way down, which is okay, but it continues to the back of the jersey. So the back of it is blue or navy blue, and so it looks like a cape. And I almost didn't say this, but of course you have the Buffalo text up here as well above the logo. It's like, is that necessary? I know the team hasn't won a cup before, but I think that some people out there do recognize this franchise, even if it's wearing yellow. So oofda. In second is a team that actually isn't around anymore, or at least is somewhere else. That's the Atlanta Thrashers. This is their alternate from 2008 to 2011. This is the reason why the team eventually moved to Winnipeg. I'm just joking. But I call this the motocross jersey because with the text and the design of it, it just doesn't look anything close to hockey. The coloring, I mean, it's kind of weird to see the Thrashers in this color in the first place. And of course, there's no logo and you got the numbers on the front. A few other teams have done that as well, but this is probably the ugliest version of that. I mean, it's a relic if you can collect it, no doubt, but nonetheless, it's certainly one of the ugliest jerseys of that era and one of the ugliest of all time. However, there is one other jersey that really does that as well, but I think it's just even more a slap in the face to the franchise, and that is the New York Islanders alternate from 2011 to 2014. This wordmark POS, the gray shoulders, that's just atrocious. A black jersey with like the orange piping, the gray, and then you got the blue on the arms. The color sequencing is terrible. The actual font is so uninspiring as well. I mean, if it weren't for the actual shoulder patches with the primary logo, of course, you wouldn't know that this is an Islanders jersey. This looks like something from a defunct hockey league from 20 years ago. So that is why it is number one. It was worn from 2011 to 2014, and it's an absolute travesty that people had to see that on the ice for 4 seasons. Anyway, guys, what do you think are the ugliest jerseys from the last 15 years? Let me know in the comments below, or alternate jerseys, I should say. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Check the video description for links to social media and to our merch store. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Nick, and I'll catch you Twisters later. Ciao.